Hello everyone, it's Kay here, and today I'm here to share with you how I make my multi-layered tags. I know it's not new, I know there are lots of people out there that are doing it, but I thought I'd give you my take on what I do to make mine. I am, as you know, currently holding a challenge, and these are more things that will end up being shared out for winnings at the end of that in September. So I thought, well, whilst I'm making tags anyway, I might as well share with you, and if you pick up a few tips and ideas along the way, then that's all to the good. Now I've used an A4 piece of cardstock, just the ordinary craft card, and if I give you the measurements, you get 3 out of an A4 sheet. These are 3 1/4 by 5.5 inches in length, and then needless to say, you just do your little bit of shaping at the top here. Now I like mine to feel substantial and to feel well made, so what I've got here is some 120 GSM pearlised paper, and what I've done is cut the shape out a wee bit smaller than the original, and that just gives you a nice border around the edge. And I'm just going to glue that down with my trusted Yoo-hoo. It does dry quickly, and it is very, very reasonable from the local shop, so I'm hoping that this will do what I need it to do at the moment. I'm not overly bothered that the edges aren't exact and precise. At the end of the day, it's handmade and it is what it is, and by the time it's decorated, to be truthful, hardly anyone realises that it's a bit off the specs. It's not that important. Now what I've got here is a grungy old bit of white tissue, and this is going to figure in. You can see I've nibbled bits out of it, and all I'm going to do is layer up some of this. These bits come from packages sent out in the post. It's either shoes or something that someone sent or something that I've ordered, and it's wrapped up nicely, and as long as it's white and clear, it lends itself to this kind of job very nicely. I'm just popping it on some of the Yoo-hoo, and I'm just going to randomly set that down on the paper, the tag. You'll notice that I'm patting rather than spreading out, because I don't want to lose the texture of the creased tissue paper. I just think it's so nice. I'm just going to make sure that my ends are caught, because by the time I then lay some ink, distress ink on it, I don't want this lifting and being a problem. So I'll just make sure, as I say, that that is down and safe. Put that away, and all I'm going to use is a little bit of distress ink, and I've got 2 colours here that I really quite like together. I'm just going to use my little pad here, and again, it's random. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just to get the colour on the actual tag, like so. I don't overdo it because it is a background. It's not something that's meant to shout out and be a major part of the tag. It's just a filler, really, and it doesn't matter how it looks at the end of the day, as long as it covers up any blank areas of card or paper. Now those colours are the tattered rose and old paper, and I also have somewhere here, if I can just find it, here it is, some of the vintage photo, and what I'm going to do with that is just ink around the edges like so, and it just affords a nice finish to the overall look of the tag. I've used the pearlised paper purely and simply because it does have a nice sheen to it, and it will marry up with the next process of the making. Put my lid on. Now what I have here is some of the Viva Decor modelling cream, and this is champagne. This was part of a DT package from Happy Hippo a long time ago, and I'm happy to say I am still getting great use out of it. And here I've also got a very much loved, you'll see, stencil, and it's the friendship stencil. I can't remember where I got it. It may well even have been a gift, but I'm putting that onto my little tag area. I've got a lovely little spatula here that I'm just going to pass over. I don't want it too thick. I just want it again to be a part of the background process. And these things are so easy to do. There is no rhyme or reason to it. It is whatever you see in your mind that you want to put on paper. It's as basic as that. And you know, that said, you can put on as little or as much as you like on something of this nature. I'm just going to clean that off a moment. Because this stuff is really quite ferocious and it dries solidly and hard, I want to make sure it's not on that little spatula. I'm lifting that off, and there you can see the print. I'll just lift it up towards you so you get the full picture. It's a kind of blush with the combination of the inks, and then the champagne colour in the cream just does lend that lovely vintage look to the tag. I'm going to now move that one out of the way because, needless to say, I've got one I prepared earlier. I do like it to dry naturally and to just sink back into the paper because the tissue does lift a little. And again, you can see there's a slight difference in colour, and it will be different every time, but it's a very nice look. Now on this one I made a mistake, and I actually put the darker side of the craft card to the fore, but it's not going to make any difference because I can always put something over the back of that. Using the crocodile, I've just added a little grommet here to thread ribbon or thread or whatever else that you would like to put through. I'm just coming in a bit closer through the tag to make it work. Now I'm going to turn it to me because obviously I need to see what I'm doing, and what I've already prepared is a 3D element. Now this is from the Studio. I did say it wrong last time and I do apologise. This is STUDIOLIGHT. I can't remember what I called it, something utterly wrong, but this is the 3D Deco Time images, and they really are absolutely beautiful. I've had these a long time. I really have. Last year, maybe even the year before, but the company is current should you want to track them down. There are sellers. I was pointed out to a seller by my friend Janet Stokes, but unfortunately they've changed the format of the books somewhat, and I wasn't quite sure if it was the same kind of thing or not, so I've left that be for the moment, but I am looking into it. So these are the 3D elements, and what I've chosen for this one is this little vintage style note paper with a tiny little rose, the little lace button and ribbon trim, and the pen, which sits very nicely across the tag in that manner. but if I were to leave it at that, it would look a little bit boring. So what I'm going to do first of all is layer up some components that I've cut, and we'll just see how it comes together. And again, this is something that you can use or not use as you see fit. These tags are very, very individual. They are up to, you know, the completely up to the person that is putting them together, but it never hurts to see some of these built up in this manner to inspire you, have you looking through your stash and seeing if there's anything that would serve the purpose in what you've got. I'm not worried about it being over the edge of the tag or, you know, sticking out at odd angles or anything like that. I do like things to be quite symmetrical, but you know, there is room to manoeuvre and room to do whatever you like. I've seen some people layer up lots and lots of flowers and, oh my goodness me, all sorts of lovely, lovely things. I'm going to put this little leaf on, and you'll notice that I'm bending it to where I want it to be. I don't particularly need it to be flat to the surface of the tag. I do want it to look as natural as I can make it. So if I lift that up, you can see already that the dimension is taking place. These little swirly bits are just adding to the overall look of the tag. I'll take that back down, and what I've got here is a solitary feather. But before I put that on, I did have some flowers. I've got some other little bits and pieces here, but it's at this point that I would put on the tag, so that anything else I can use the tag to act as a little posing area for the extra bits and pieces that I want to put on, really. So I'm just using double-sided foam tape here, like so, and I've not put it on in any particular way. I don't believe in using too much of the stuff because it's not essential. You know, you can always add extra adhesive to the back of the foam if you're worried, and there is a little bit of flexibility in it not being all over the back of the piece. I'm just opening it up a little bit and bending it because I don't want it, with everything looking aged, I don't want it looking too pristine when it's on the tab. So that then goes on like that, and I'll bring it up to show you again. You see how it's taking shape. It doesn't have to be anything extraordinary, just things that you have in your stash that you can utilise and get the most out of. I've got a tiny little marabou feather here, which I will now stick in behind this and just let it fluff and do what it wants to do, but not obscure the leaf too much if I can avoid it, because that is such a pretty feature. I'll spread it out like so, and because the feather is white, it's actually allowing the colour beneath to come up through and, you know, just overall add to the colour of the tag without actually having to ink it or anything like that. And then last but not least, I've got a couple of flowers here, and they are tiny, and they need to be, obviously, because the tag isn't huge. I just wind up and then fold back once I've got the flowers, and these are very squished, but it doesn't matter. Once I've got the flowers in a shape that I like, and again a bit more of the yoo-hoo, and I'm just going to pop two over here like so, and then I've got three that I can put down the bottom, and that will just complete, for the purposes of the video, that will just complete the tag. I will go on to add a little bit of glossy accents or glitter or something like that, just to lift up the pieces like the ribbon here, just to make them a little bit more pronounced. Just add that down, but for now I need to let the components that I've put on dry. I should probably put glossy accents on the pen there. Just put the lid on this because it melts everything. I'll probably put glossy accents on the pen to make that jump out. I'll definitely put some glitter on the rose here and do something, if it's only to put a flat back pearl or something of that nature on the end of that little tag, just to finish it off and marry it all up. So I'll show you the others that I've made so you can see them once they're finished, and hopefully you will agree that they are well worth the time and effort to put into them. This is another one that I made, and I've used a pink leaf here, glossy accents on the little image there. There are buttons, flat back pearl, the leaf again, another little fancy cutout, but I think they're absolutely lovely. I don't know that anyone would be unhappy to receive one in a rack or as a little gift. Here's another one. This is the little girl, and she's got her suitcase opened up with her little shoes on the side here, and again a feather, a little bit of that was an old die that I bought at a craft show, and that's, oops, that's what it looks like, and I've got them in different colours, and I've just cut them out and planted them in behind bits and pieces. That's a Marianne die, and it's actually meant to be snow or something of that nature, but I've quite often used it for embellishments and borders like this, because I just think it adds a really nice touch to the overall look. And then there's this one. I've used a larger feather on this one, let the centre of the 3D bit fall back and just put this word love across it. I've glossy accented the top of the embellishment of the frame here, and the little scent bottle and the word, just to make them jump out and stand out. But that is the tags I've made so far. The one that I started today, I do have very, very similar plans for. On this one, I've got this lovely teddy bear that I shall put in pretty much the same way, and like I say, these will be gifted or sent out as part of my winnings for my challenge. So I hope you found this interesting. I hope it spurs you on to have a little go yourself. There is absolutely no need to purchase tags. You know, you can make them as small or as large as suits you and what you want to show, really. So, you know, have a go. It's all about having a go and not being afraid to sit and make it work for you. So thank you once again for sharing this time with me, and happy crafting, everyone. Take care. Bye bye for now.